So if you don't mind,
Sure.
and you can choose to answer or not answer,
Okay.
would you tell me about the chickens?
The ch-
I'm just
Ugh.
fascinated by this. And when I heard about this story originally, I won't tell much about the detail just in case you want to share that. But
Sure.
all I could think of is how do you handle something like that? So,
So I'm going to throw this question back at you. How much time do we have to talk about this? There,
well,
so I,
give me the nutshell version.
sure.
Like, what happened?
So this is one of the biggest pet peeves of mine. This is something that grinds my gears every day. Um, for whatever reason, a distributor, I don't know where, someplace in Albany. I got a call from I don't even remember where it was. I think some based in Albany or near there. I got like a frantic call at like 11 a.m. on a Saturday, the most random time. Like we're getting ready to close up for the day. I was just there with another person. Someone called me in a panic that they had. It was 157 cases of chicken on a 53-foot trailer. Initially, they couldn't tell me what the weight was, and they couldn't tell me how big the cases were. Uh, so I eventually they contacted the driver, and the driver was like, "Here, it's this, this, and this," and they got all that information to me. Turns out there were 157 cases and the cases were 52 pounds apiece. And
Gosh.
what likely happened is it was just a doc refusal at a store locally in Albany. I don't know what store. I don't know why. For whatever reason, it was
Like
refused.
something that they didn't order that ended up being delivered there, and they were
I
just like at a loss, like said, we can't accept
Yeah,
this because we didn't order it.
I have no idea. I mean, you could throw any guess out there, and I probably would accept it at some point. Um, my my assumption is I don't want to. This is just me personally, having worked at a grocery store. I think the workers' compensation rules apply. It's like 50 pounds or something. You can't lift anything above 50 pounds. But the cases were 2 pounds heavier than that.
Oh God.
Uh, so as opposed to just taking like a bag out of each case, they just refused the whole thing. So we're looking at like 3.5 tons of chicken that would have ended up in the landfill had we not taken it. So instead of having a crew of workers, employees who are trained to handle all of this food, we ended up having 7 or 8, maybe about 9 volunteers who are in their 70s, mind you, uh, lift this off a truck at the very back of a 53-foot trailer by hand and throw it down onto the ground and put it into a walk-in freezer with a friend that we had in Hartwick. And that's just the first one.
Oh my gosh.
But the really great thing about this is we were able to. I have a good friend named Maggie Johnson that through the Hunger Coalition of Otsego County. She's a member of the board, and I think is the secretary of the board. She sent a mass email out and said, "Hey, if you want chicken, call that guy." And I, if we were still using landlines, I think I would have seen like in the movies, where they have like the phones, all the lights are lighting up, but my email was blowing up like, "Hey, can I get chicken? Can I get chicken? Can I get chicken?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. Just tell me a time, and I'll meet you there." Uh, so
Wow.
I think in the first week I helped to distribute. God, it was 25 to 30 cases. It went to like 8 or 9, maybe even 12 local pantries. It went to the domestic violence shelter. A friend of mine who's with the Department of Social Services took some to other people. Um, it went just about all over Otsego County, as you can imagine, and that's still just the first one.
Well, that is kind of a blessing in some ways. I mean, how wonderful to like have that drop in your lap and be able to A, accommodate it, and B, like get right into distributing it to people
Yeah,
who need it.
yeah.
So good for you. That's an amazing story. And I just like I heard bits and pieces about it and
Mhm.
I was like, what in the world is that? So when you messaged me that day, I'm like, what's the deal with the chickens? So I appreciate that you're able to share that with us today because I think it'll make a great story.
And unfortunately, I think my order of 1,000 pounds of buttermilk biscuits got lost in transit.
Oh darn.
I'm pretty upset myself.
That's That's great.